Okay, hi, and welcome to another episode of KidScoop Media Online. Today, we have fourth grade teacher Beverly O'Brien from the Culver City Unified School District. And we have two scoopers, Lilibet and Gabby. Lilibet, do you want to start with the first question?
Well, first off, how are you? And thanks for joining us today. And
thank you.
Well, first off, what has been your biggest challenge probably with all this online stuff and the internet and all?
Well, I think the biggest challenge that I've had so far is trying to kind of separate the home life from the school life, because now school is taking place in my home, right? And so I have constant access to my email, and I want to just jump on every question that my students have and answer as quickly as I can. And even if that's 7, 8 o'clock at night or 6 o'clock in the morning. So really trying to find a balance for myself, which I think is probably true for a lot of our students as well, right? Trying to find that balance between when do I do school time and when do I do home time and when do I do family time. So that has probably been one of the biggest learning curves for me, is just trying to find this new normal, this new balance between my personal life and my school life.
So interesting. Gabby, what about you? What would you like to ask?
Are you still giving the kids tests?
So I'm doing more like what I'd call check-ins as opposed to tests, right? I don't have as controlled of an environment as I would if I was in a classroom, where I am absolutely 100% certain that I'm giving students curriculum and they're accessing that curriculum and answering their questions one-to-one in a very kind of controlled environment of a classroom. Now it's taking place in people's homes, and there's issues with technology, there's issues with, the web isn't working and I can't get online, right? So I would, instead of thinking of it like a test, I think of it more like a check-in mini assessment, right? I ask questions and then I have students submit work back to me. I look at that work and then I take it from there. And instead of a test, what I am envisioning, what I'm hoping we can make happen over the next few weeks, is have more like small group Zoom sessions, kind of like we're doing right here. And I have a small group of students and I can interact with them and connect with them and ask questions and sort of assess their understanding of a certain content area in that way.
That's a great question. I have a follow-up to that. Do all the kids have the tablets that they need? Have they been supplied by the district?
Yeah, so I think our district has actually done a really excellent job with providing opportunities for parents to come and check out Chromebooks. We did have a couple of issues, I know this was true in my class, with accessing videos. So we are linking in videos for the students to watch in certain content areas. And the district's done a really good job with security, right? And so not being able to access certain things because those Chromebooks are coming from school and they have certain guidelines and restrictions and access points and stuff. So some of that had to be worked out. But yeah, I think for the most part, they have the technology that they need and they can access it if they need to.
That's great. Lilibet, what do you have next?
I was wondering, how has teaching students changed since you've gotten into teaching?
So do you mean just since we've been doing from home, or do you mean just in general for as long as I've been teaching?
Yeah.
Just in general, as long as I've been teaching. I think we have more flexibility in our classrooms now. So I've been teaching, just some backstory. I've been teaching, I was a substitute teacher in Culver City Unified for about 5 years before I started teaching full-time at Farragut in 4th grade. So I had about 5 years experiencing different classrooms. I think I taught at every single school site in almost every single grade level within CCUSD. And I think the biggest change that I've seen is more flexible learning spaces, more opportunities for students to collaborate collaborate and work in small groups and ask a lot of questions, right? It's not just a direct instruction model where the teacher stands up and gives instruction and kids take notes and then take a test, right? It's a lot more collaborative. It's a lot more small group work, which is something that I'm really hoping to recreate in this homeschool setting where I can do these small group Zoom sessions and really kind of meet students where they are.
That's great. Gabby, what would you like to ask?
What are you doing in your free time?
Oh my goodness, I'm trying to find free time. But truly, I am trying to get outside a lot more in terms of just taking walks around my neighborhood and going for runs. That's one of the nice things about this homeschooling schedule is that I can take a break in kind of the middle of my day and I'm not tied to my classroom. I can go outside and take a walk. I can get some exercise and sort of enjoy more of this beautiful weather that we're starting to have. So that's what I'm really trying to focus on is just taking some time to breathe deeply and enjoy the beautiful weather.
Can you sleep in or is there a scheduled time to start?
So I do, that's funny that you mentioned that because this morning at 7:30 in the morning, I was still walking around in my pajamas, and that would not be the case if it was a regular school day. I would probably already be in my classroom at 7:30, right? So there has been sort of a shift to a later schedule, but I do try and post all my assignments for my students by 8:45 in the morning so they can get going when they need to and sort of stay on that regular schedule.
Okay.
And if we do like a whole class Zoom session, I try and start that by 9 a.m. so I can have the rest of my day to, you know, do some more of that small group work or continue with my planning. But I do think that there's been a shift to a later start of the day, or certainly being more casual in my appearance. When we had our Zoom session on Monday, I told my students, show up in your pajamas. I might be in my pajamas too, and that's okay.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Lilybeth, what would you like to ask?
Is there anything that surprised you about online teaching that like you didn't really know about before?
Honestly, I think any surprise has been a pleasant one in terms of the resilience of my students and their fearlessness to try new things. Technology can be intimidating, right? And I'm asking students to really jump right in and figure out a lot of stuff really quickly. And I've really been pleasantly surprised by how willing and courageous my kids have been to try new ways of learning and to try new programs and to reach out and advocate for themselves if something isn't going right, if they have a question or they can't figure something out, right? To sort of take on that responsibility themselves to reach out and say, I'm not quite understanding this yet.
Interesting. Gabby?
Are the kids adjusting like the way that you would like them to?
I hope so. From my perspective, a couple really good things happened. We had, just as the district as a whole, we had about 2 weeks last week and this week to really try and ramp up our and understand these new programs that we're putting out to our students and just kind of figure out our routine for the day and figure out our schedules for the week. And so we've really been given this time to just kind of get everybody used to this new way of teaching. So I think it's been a good way to start things out, and then we'll kind of get into some more well, we'll just kind of get into more layered teaching as we're moving forward from this point. So I don't know if I actually answered your specific question, but I kind of went off on a tangent. Did I answer what you were asking? Okay, good.
Lilybeth.
Will you bring any of like these certain teaching methods that you've learned online into like regular school when it resumes in the fall?
Wow. I don't know yet. I would say we have certain content standards. Every grade level has states, well, they're not state standards anymore, they're national Common Core standards for each grade level that we are required to teach throughout the year, right? And I'm doing that now. I'm very focused on those standards. I really want to make sure that my students are getting everything that they need to know for 4th grade based on this list of standards, right? And so I think maybe some of our curriculum that we have in the classroom for language arts or math or wherever, they certainly meet those content areas, but they also kind of go off on these other little tangents. So it's kind of allowing me to rethink, how does the curriculum that I've been given from school align with these standards? What's really important? What can I pull out that I absolutely have to have as essential? And what can I maybe do as a small group project or teach in a different way? So I'm not entirely, I don't have 100% answer to that question yet, but that's sort of some of the things that I'm thinking about and noticing.
You know if the students will get credit for the full year, or like, you know?
Yes, I mean, I'm assuming so. I don't know. We're not doing state testing. That's not happening this year. But what we have done is we've rolled out 2 programs through the elementary schools in Culver City for math and language arts. One is IXL and the other one is Lexia Core 5. And what those programs will do is they will give us really great information so that teachers will know at the beginning of next year kind of where to start kids out, where to begin, right? So because we're not doing state testing, there's a lot of information that we get from those state tests that allow us to sort of plan our curriculum and understand where we need to start from. And since we're not doing that for the upper grades, 3rd, 4th, and 5th this year, these 2 programs will allow us to have some level of data about where our kids are coming in.
Okay, great. Did you have any, yes, Gabby?
I have a follow-up to that. Is there any methods like that you use before you were home, doing school from home that you brought in to distance learning?
I really like the opportunity for kids to collaborate in small groups. And so that's what I'm really focusing on moving forward, is how to allow students to differentiate my instruction by allowing students to do smaller group work. So if I can have a Zoom conference like this with a smaller group, just like I would pull aside a small group in my classroom, that's something that I'm really trying to keep consistent to really meet those students where they are in their learning.
Did anybody else have any other questions? Anybody? Any final words? Oh yes, Gabby?
So do you feel like the kids are distracted at all?
So I do know that there are a lot of opportunities for distraction online, and oftentimes students are the first ones to figure that out before I do, and I'm really not aware that a problem could be lurking out there until a student or a parent lets me know. So a lot of times, I mean, kids are very savvy with technology. And so I'm learning a lot about the way the platforms work, and that Google Chat is something that can be turned off and perhaps should be during school time. So yes, I think there are opportunities for distraction for students in this online world, and certainly there's opportunities for distraction just being at home, right? So for me, one of the things that I like to do when we have our whole class Zoom sessions is to allow kids an opportunity to share something from home, to, you know, bring to the classroom something that they'd like to share, whether it's their pet or a favorite thing from home or anything like that, to give them an opportunity to share that out so that they can have that be seen and heard. And hopefully that would eliminate some distraction later on. I don't know.
Are students still able to communicate with you, I mean, separately, alone, privately?
Yeah, email's a great thing, and I encourage my students to email me. I've been sending out daily check-ins, Zoom recordings of just me speaking to the class and kind of explaining, you know, this is the assignment for today, this is how we access this new technology, and sharing my screen and showing things in that way. And then I always end with, you know, I'm here. If you have a question, let me know. I'm doing a daily checklist where students can respond back to me on that daily checklist. I check it every day. And if students have questions, I can reach out to them directly via that checklist. I think mostly I want my students to feel like I really want to keep that connection with them. I want them to know that I'm here. And even though I'm not physically present, that I'm still really caring about their education and where they are and making sure they understand what they're doing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Did you guys have any final questions before we? No? Okay. Thank you so much, Mrs. O'Brien.
You're so welcome.
Wonderful. I know a lot of people will appreciate this interview. Okay, you guys, thank you. You guys did a great job again.
Ooh, thank you for the great questions. And Lilybeth, I get to see you all the time. So thank you so much for popping in and saying hello. And Gabby, it was really nice to meet you.
Me too.
Okay. And thank you for the opportunity, Michelle. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I'll see you guys later. Take care.
Okay. Take
Bye.
care.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.